Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. So here on the 4-hour chart, we seem to be in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup. We are currently trying to complete the 5th wave. The target for that is at 61.6 cents, but please keep in mind, even if we form a 5-wave move to the upside right now, that's not gonna be enough to confirm that the low is in, because after that we could easily turn this structure into a much bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup for the C wave to the downside. So to confirm that something like that is not gonna happen, what we need to do is get a first wave to the upside, then we need to get an ABC to the downside for the second wave, and only after we manage to respect support and after we manage to bounce off support, I'm gonna be able to tell you that something more bullish is going on. But before that happens, please understand that we could always drop to around 46.6 cents, which would be a 5th wave target, and that's exactly where the 0.786 support level is for the entire move to the upside. So if we drop in that zone, I'm not gonna be surprised. If you look at the weekly chart real quick, I did say a couple of days ago that the RSI could drop to the trend line right there, because that's exactly where we dropped multiple times in the past before we actually had a move to the upside. So if that happens, please do not be surprised. And also, if you look at the Bitcoin weekly chart, unfortunately we closed way above the trend line, and this could mean that maybe right now we're gonna go a bit lower this week, because that's pretty much exactly what happened back in 2024 as well. We did get a move to the upside after that, but it was a fake out, and during that time we got above the bull market support band, but a couple of weeks later we went even lower, and then only after we tested the trend line, that's when the price actually started going up again. So what we need to do right now is two things. So let's say the low is already in, and let's say we're not gonna get another low. To confirm that something bullish is going on, what we need to do is get above the moving average on the weekly RSI, test it and stay above it, and only after that I'm gonna be able to say that the low is in. But until that happens, please understand that getting another low is my main scenario, and there is a chance that the setup that we are in right now could be following what we did back in 2023. I'm not sure if you can remember what I said a couple of days ago, but during this time right here, we went down about 22%, which is the exact same percentage that we are down right now. And not only that, but right there, after we had a cross on the bull market support band, we actually formed a new higher high, and only after we formed a new higher high, and when we broke below the moving average on the weekly RSI, that's when we had this drop, and that's exactly what is happening right now. If you look at what we did this year, we had a cross on the bull market support band, we got a new higher high, and then after that we started going down, and we went down about 22%, and during that time, by the way, we only started the drop because we actually dropped below the moving average on the weekly RSI. So if we are following what we did back in 2023, I think there is a chance that we do exactly what we did on the RSI back then as well. As you can see, the RSI kept going lower and lower every single week until we got to an RSI level of about 44, and only after that we managed to get a move to the upside and above the bull market support band. But like I said, if we do not want Bitcoin to get another low right now, we need to get above the moving average on the weekly RSI, test it, and then bounce off of it. That has never happened before. As you can see here, for example, the low was in when we got above the moving average, and during this time we did not really get back above the moving average after dropping below it right here. So I think getting above it could be good, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, because if you look at the short-term chart real quick on the 4-hour, here we are still expecting another move to the downside. The target for the C wave of this AB structure over here is currently at $98,000. So I think there is a chance that we get to $98,000 by the end of the week, and hopefully we still close above $100,000. But yeah, I mean, even though we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup that we are tracking right here, until we get the 5-wave move to the upside, and until we get the ABC down and we respect the support zone, and then we get a bounce, I'm not gonna be able to tell you that the low is in, because we could always go lower. And please understand that going lower is actually my main scenario, because Bitcoin did not manage to get to the trend line on the weekly RSI. It did not close at the trend line, and I warned you about this a couple of weeks ago, but this could be bearish. And I think if we do not manage to get a move to the bull market support band this week, or even above the bull market support band, it's probably going to be a sign that what we're doing right now could be a big fake out, and during that time Cardano could theoretically go lower to get to the target for the C wave, and we'll see if that plays out. But going to the daily chart on the Cardano chart, right here we are currently above the moving average on the daily RSI, which I believe is a very good sign. But just like we did back here, and even even back here and even back there, we have to test the moving average, and only after that I'm gonna be able to tell you that something more bullish is going on. So what we need to do right now is finish the fifth wave to the upside, then we need to go down into the ABC, and during that time we will test the moving average. If we manage to stay above it, we are probably gonna start a much bigger third wave, and the target for the much bigger third wave is at $1.04. But please do not get your hopes too high, because, I mean, for this move to happen, Bitcoin needs to bottom, and again, I cannot confirm that the low on the Bitcoin chart is in. Going to the Ethereum chart, as you can see here, we are also trying to complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup. We are currently in the C wave for the third wave. The target for that is at $3,770. If we manage to get in that area, which is also where the bull market support band is, we should get a fourth wave after that, and it should be an ABC structure, and then the fifth wave could put us above the bull market support band, and that could be very good because that's also gonna break us out of the downtrend. If you look at the RSI, currently we are above the moving average right there, which I believe is good, but even though we are above it, there's always a chance that we drop below it. Please understand that we are also almost overbought over here, and the last time we got to the overbought territory was in this area when Ethereum was at like $4,200, and before that it was right here when Ethereum was even higher. So if we actually get to the third wave target and then we get rejected, I think that's gonna lead to a much bigger move on every single chart, and during that time maybe we get to the oversold territory again, or in the worst case scenario, maybe Ethereum even drops to the 0.618 support level for the much bigger fourth wave to the downside, and after that, that's when we, get a move to the upside. Keep in mind, the 0.618 support level is usually the most important support level, so if we break below this, it's gonna be a sign that maybe the bull market is over and we're not gonna get an altcoin season. So far we have respected the support zone, so at some point we're gonna get the fifth wave either way, but only, like I said, if we manage to hold above the 0.618, and if we actually manage to get above the moving average on the weekly RSI. So my target for the fifth wave is still at $6,700, but obviously it could overextend to maybe $8,300 or even more. Also, going to the Cardano chart on the weekly, I've said this way too many times, but at the end of the day, we are still waiting for the third wave of the third wave. The support zone for the B wave of the third wave has been respected multiple times. We got to the 0.618 like 5 times, and each time we got to that level, we bounced, meaning that at some point we are gonna get a move, because that's exactly what happened back in that area and back in that area as well. So I think it's only a matter of time until we start the third wave, but before we even think about the third wave of the third wave, what we need to do right now is actually get above the 0.618 resistance level of the previous all-time high, which is at $1.22. This is where we got rejected last year. As you can see in this area, we tried getting above that level about 3 or 4 times, and each time we tried, we got rejected, and obviously we got rejected because this is a very important level. But I think once we break above it, the road to $3.50 for the third wave of the third wave is gonna be extremely fast, and I'm not sure if we're gonna get to $3.50 by the end of November, because so far Bitcoin is not really showing me that it has bottomed. So for the time being, I'm still bullish on the market. I think there's a lot of potential here, but we kind of have to find a low on the RSI before we can actually manage to start going up, or at least, like I mentioned, we have to get above the moving average right there, and then I'm gonna be able to say that something more bullish is going on. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.